Welcome to this episode of Cooking with Carter. I'm DJ Carter, happy to have you with us today. We're going to do a special recipe of mine, one of my favorites. It's chicken cheese bread. I'm going to actually start from right to left this time with my ingredients. What I have is, for my seasonings, seasoned salt, onion powder, complete seasoning, garlic salt, and just a little bit of oregano. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go over the meat assortment that I'm using for the chicken cheese bread. I've got beef and I've got chicken, and they're both fajita style. This is already pre-cooked, but I'm going to actually put it in a skillet to get it to cook all the way through. On my left side, I have a full loaf of hollowed out bread, just regular bread. You can use any style. You can use French, you can use baguettes, whatever you choose. Just make sure you get the loaf. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I also hollowed out each section of bread that was not flat. What I mean by flat, if you take a look at the second piece of bread right here, the one that kind of fits in between all the others and sits down lower, that's a flat section of bread that I didn't have to hollow out. The other ones I've hollowed out just a little bit, and the reason for that is so that the chicken and beef will have a place to sit and not rummage all over the bread and fall off, so it can actually look neat during the presentation. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my beef and my chicken assortments, and I'm going to do a pack of this on camera. There's a beef. And there's a chicken. Alright. We'll just get this all assorted in here. Now, technically, you could use it this way, but it's a little big for my taste. I want to chop it down and actually bring it to a better size to fit on the bread. So you can use your Ninja for this. You can use your blender. You can use whatever you want to use to chop it up.
Food processor.
Food processor. I'm going to use just go by hand here, real simple. And I'm using this plastic cutting board because with the plastic cutting board, it's so much easier to put things into a bowl or move things into, wherever you want to go, just by simply folding the direction of the cutting board that you want. There you go. That was a cup. That's okay. Nothing was in that.
It wanted its 15 minutes of fame.
And
seem to be sliding to the left a little.
A little bit. Right there. That's the con to using a plastic cutting board. It will tend to slide on you just a bit.
So close to your cameraman's fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see this. I'm holding this very steadily so it doesn't move all around.
I would have used the wooden one, but this one's just a little bit better for bowl placement.
And also you can fold it and pick everything up in one single bound, pretty much.
Yep. Alright, so that's all cut up, and just to show you kind of what we were talking about, I'm going to sit my knife down, which I've done. Now, see how it comes over the bowl? I'm just going to set it right in the bowl here and let it fold into a cone, kind of, and drop right into the bowl there. Alright, so when we come back, I'm going to show you a skillet preheated to 350, sprayed down. I'm going to cut up the rest of my beef and chicken, and we'll get this sauteed and be back in just a bit on Cooking with Carter. Hello and welcome back. We've got our skillet preheated. Now I just want to go through one quick thing. I went ahead and turned it up to 350, and I let it preheat at 350, but I brought it down to 300, which is what I do a lot because the the skillet started to smoke just a little bit. When that happens, just turn your temperature down gradually and let it cool just a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bowl of, I'll take the combination bowl first, of meat and chicken. Right on in to the trusty skillet. And then we'll take the bowl of this chicken, add that in. Now, the key here is not to let this sit. To cook this is very simple. If you let it sit, don't let it sit for a long period of time. Because the grill's hot and it does not take long for this to finish. It takes about 5 to 6 minutes, honestly. And we're just going to toss this around. Just like this. Now, honestly, I like the meat combinations that we have here and the style of meat and the way it's done. But as my cameraman pointed out off camera, the seasonings that I use make it just a wee bit better. So I'm going to toss this around just a few times more. We'll just kind of let it move around, do its thing. And I'll tell you what, the smell in here starting to really get good. I think most companies should make that smell-o-vision that Emerald Lagasse used to talk about. I used to love to watch him. Him and Michael Simon are two of my favorite people to really watch. And there we go. Alright, so that's tossed around good. Now let's have some fun. Gonna take some good old seasoning salt. And I'm just gonna sprinkle her around here. Oh, a generous portion. Alright. Little onion powder. A little bit goes a long way. Oregano. And our friend Mr. Complete Seasoning.
Which for me makes everything just so mouthwatering.
And last but not least, our great friend, Mr. Garlic Salt. Now, something you don't see me use on camera a lot is pepper and salt. And Max got the first pour in there, but that's okay. Okay, that seasons the food very well. Alright, so now I'm just going to toss this around a little bit more. Now I'm actually going to season this a second time. Why? Because everything has two sides. And you want to make sure that even though it gets stirred around, that's why you season just a little bit. And sometimes that's why I do it in reverse order, so everything doesn't taste so like the same. You want to mix it up just a little bit and make sure that everything gets incorporated well. And then I wish you guys could smell this. Oh. What do you think, Max? Woo.
My mouth is already watering.
I gotta tell you.
I wish y'all could taste some of the food we make sometimes, and hopefully you will.
I tell you, things are happening with cooking with Carter. I gotta be honest. The Lord has blessed me very heavily, and I thank Him for it every day. Cooking with Carter is over 500 views. We're almost at 550, and I want to thank all the fans and the people that have supported the show and that have come in and looked at the channel and recommended to friends. We really appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and season this one last time. Now the benefit of this here is having all the lids off of the containers, and Max is actually taking the seasoning and I'm taking the seasoning, and he's just sprinkling around. Same thing I'm doing. We're kind of seasoning tasting each other here. And I'm gonna do a little trick here on camera, both hands at one time. They do work. There
When they want to.
All right, little salt, little pepper, and finally the last two. The complete and the onion powder. All right, Marshall, if you would just reach back there and grab the Worcestershire sauce out of the fridge, please. That, folks, is a surprise ingredient. I didn't have it on the table because I want to show you. You'll notice that the beef and the chicken basically done, but I'm going to actually toss this around just a little bit, and get it all incorporated well. Now you can also see where the seasonings are on both sides, and that's how you know that everything is seasoned well. Now, when I do this, excuse me, I want to show you how we're going to do it right on camera here. Now, this is the bottom. I want you to watch. I am not going to use a lot. Just very simple. Toss it around. Now, this adds a significant flavor to your meat. It is not soy sauce. This is a ingredient that helps keep moisture in. Okay, that all together is about 3.5 to 4, thank you, sir, tablespoons. And we'll give this one final toss. Remember how I said everything has two sides? Continue to toss that. And remember, if you have problems with flipping, come over to one side, push everything over to the side you want to flip to. Take your spatula, dig your spatula in, rotate that wrist just like that. Let all that wonderful goodness melt around in there. Oh, this is good enough to eat right here, goodness gracious. Tell you what, bread's looking a little lonely over there. We're going to change that in just a couple of minutes. All right, I'm going to give it one final splash of Worcestershire, or as they say sometimes, Worcestershire sauce. Here we go. A little splashy, splashy. Yeah. Oh man, does it smell good in here. Woo. Alrighty. There we go. Alright, that's going to do it for the meat portion. That's done. And that's how it looks, and you can see that almost that dark color now, that's because that Worcestershire sauce is caramelizing on that meat, which is exactly what you want. And then when we put this bad boy in the oven, oh my gracious, it's going to catch the mama. I'm telling you, it's going to get good over here on Cooking with Carter. I don't know why I just went slightly country or southern, but it does happen every once in a while. Alright, so we'll be right back and we'll show you how to assemble your bread, put it in the oven, and go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So we'll be right back in a moment. Alright, welcome back. Just want to go ahead and show you a couple things that we've done. Over to my right here, we've got a bowl, and we went ahead and took the meat, the beef and chicken mixture that we had with the Worcestershire sauce and the seasonings. We put that in the Ninja. We blended that down because I want it to sit kind of evenly and I wanted to mix it well. So we make sure to get an even distribution of meat all the way through. We've got our 4 slices of baguette over here. I've already oiled one side, actually down on this area here on the my far right, but I'm going to show you how I do that on camera just real quick. Get you a generous bowl of either vegetable oil or canola, whatever you choose. And just you want to go real light with your brush and make sure that every few strokes that you really want to make sure that this bread gets heavily absorbed with some oil, because in this area it's going to need it, and you want to make sure to get your ends as well. It doesn't take long at all, and you can see which areas are saturated and which areas are not. And you'll notice that I'm dabbing every so often because the bread absorbs the oil very quickly. And I'm just using regular vegetable oil. Now that's that high piece that I told you about that I had to hollow out. Now I'll do this little piece here. And if you want to be really creative, a little quicker, a little easier, do one of those just like that. Okay. Now, I did not realize how low I was on cheese. So this chicken cheese bread is not going to be the cheesiest, but I shall do my best.
We shall overcome our cheeselessness. Yes.
We do have another pack in the fridge, but I am waiting.
It may be a bit frozen.
For it to thaw. Okay. Sprinkle just a little bit more over here. Now I do have 2 trays, so I'm actually going to transfer 2 of these pieces over to an, oh yeah, actually Marshall just pointed out a great idea, and I didn't think about it, so kudos to Marshall back there. We'll save that idea for just a little bit. I'm going to do the bottom here first. And you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, Mr. Carter, you're putting all the cheese on the bread. You need to have some for the top. What are you going to do? Oh, the cheese is gone. No.
No.
You can't do that. I can. You know why? Because I'm the host of the show. All right, check
That's
it
the
out.
way I roll.
All right. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit at a time.
Apparently none of it wants to go in the
Yeah,
bread.
and it's very compact. So I'm going to do something that I'm able to do, and you guys are just going to have to trust me.
But
My hands are clean, I promise.
I don't want it.
Now, a trick of the trade, you can also take slices of bacon and put over the top of this. And forgive Max's eyes for rolling back in the back of his head. He's going into dreamland for just a moment.
I feel like we have a lot more meat than we do bread.
Now here's one of those hollowed out pieces. And if you just notice, how it sits in there. And the good thing about this is you can move it around kind of at will. And when things don't work out with spoons and forks, guys, use your hands. That's what God gave them to you for. Just make sure they're clean. One of the things about CP, very, very rarely to where my coordination doesn't work on camera, it sometimes comes down to I got to make a decision. How am I going to make this work for my viewers to see how to do this? Sometimes I have to use my fingers. That's the way it is. I mean, I'm being totally honest with you. Now, we're going to flip this around. Do the other side. And you know what? With these sitting flat, do you think we're going to need another tray there, Max? Or you think we...
It feels a little overcrowded.
Yeah, I'll probably put them on another tray.
Just so everything cooks evenly.
Yep.
Because the outside ones would probably cook faster than the middle ones, and then by the time the middle ones are done, the outside are probably crispy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how ovens tend to work.
And actually, I will say my oven, I love my oven. It cooks very well.
Well, it's not on fire.
Oh.
That's an episode no one's ever going to see.
First time I made a cake. The cake turned out so great, but the preparation...
Preparation and during the cooking, we had to stop for several hours because we had to clean out the oven because the oven set on fire because we overfilled the cooking pans.
And didn't put anything under them.
Lesson learned.
Very quickly.
Very, very quickly.
Nice
The
people.
most exciting episode that will never be seen.
Yeah. That episode is lost. It's a lost episode. If anyone ever finds it,
Please don't show
please don't show it. That was awful. I think we started recording at like 7 at night, and
Finished at midnight.
no, it was. I'm pretty sure it was like 2.
Really?
Yes, because we spent about 4 to 5 hours cleaning the oven.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, and then the cake came out and it didn't look too pretty, and then we put icing on it, and it looked amazing. Also tasted pretty good too. But yeah, that was That being said, we want to go back to cakes.
And we will.
We will, sometime in the future. For right
And
now.
I promise we won't set the oven on fire.
And if we do, maybe we'll keep it this time.
Yeah.
We just need a little more practice off camera.
But you know what? That cake turned out so good. Oh, I was so surprised at how good. And when we said to ourselves, we should have filmed this. We should have just cut it and filmed it because the cake was so good. And I made a double layered cake. I was so proud. All right.
I
So
think we were so disappointed by the time we got to the end that we didn't want to do it anymore.
yeah, it was.
But we digress. We're gonna get back to this episode.
All right. Gonna put just a little bit more beef
Well, that's a lot of mayonnaise.
right over there. All right. Now, one of the last things that we're going to do, but we're not going to do it right now. I'm actually going to let this cook, and the last 5 minutes, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put sliced cheese over top of this meat concoction. Yep, we're using sliced cheese. How dare he on his show use sliced cheese?
Well, it is a sandwich.
All right, a sandwich isn't a sandwich. Oh, wait, no, that's another. Okay, so we'll just go from there, and we'll be back when this is completely finished to show you how it looks on Cooking with Carter. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to Cooking with Carter. I just want to go ahead and show you what this looks like, and we just took it out of the oven. What I did is I divided the loaves 3 ways. I did cut those off camera. A little knife went right through them. It's very, very easy. But I'm just going to pick this up on camera and take a listen to this. Oh, man. Campbell said it best when they said, good. They weren't lying. We'll see you next time where the meals we make are worth the wait on Cooking with Carter later on.